Why am I receiving an echo, echo, echo? Why am I receiving an echo, echo, echo? Sorry, guys. It's been a while. How's everybody doing? Patriots. Um, just, this isn't going to be a marathon. I mean, I'm here for you guys. So, um, a little update with Venezuela. Everything is subject to change. I mean, hour by hour. But this is the news currently. Maduro, his military is for him as of now. And right before going live, there's a couple of channels that again, I don't know how everybody feels about Q and all this stuff, but I love Trump, period. I don't agree with everything he does, but it's a very difficult, situation. Because we don't know everything that's going on, right? We know a lot. We know the people are eating zoo animals. That's fact. But I'm not there on the ground. But I just found it amazing, that how POTUS for the past 2 years, how the United States, right? They tried to do a covert coup against a United States. I mean, what Cortez says the world's going to end in 12 years, right? But there's going to be books, probably tons of documentaries about this. Like, this is a major event. Not only did they try to do a coup, but they failed at it. They failed at it. And again, just like I tell you guys with prepping, have with anything in life, A, B, C, D, you just don't have one plan. You have multiple plans. As of now, guys, it's 7:15 here on the East Coast, 24th of January. There are 21 nations. It's not like it's like it's just America. We're going to invade. 21 nations that are with America right now. And I mean, last time I checked was like 4 hours ago, and then I just checked 2 minutes prior 2 minutes prior to coming live, and it's up to 21 nations right now. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Again, invading a country. I don't. War is hell. But I'm not saying we are going to invade. But let's look at tactics. If you guys, the Patriots, listening, if you don't agree with FF to take place, to get more of the American people involved, or sending. I mean, there's people already there, um, different agencies, I should say. Um, it takes one bad thing, guys, or money, or money. You know, um, I'm like a body language. I did that. I was trained in body language and picking up different types of behavior. And when I see Nicolas Maduro speak at a lot, I study a lot. Like when I watch videos, sometimes I watch them over a few times, and I notice like his top few people that they're probably generals who surround him. I notice not all of them, but at least two in most videos. Um, their demeanor is different than the others. What does that mean? Uh, Pretty much, as he's speaking, it looks like the general doesn't want to be there. So, anything's possible. But I said this from the very beginning, and again, I'm not privy to what POTUS knows, obviously, but I do have my connections, and Russia, regardless whatever happens, Russia is going to have their military base there. Period. I want to see something. Um, so, that's a contract. I believe it's for 10 years. 10 years. I'm going to check it real quick. Just um but the bigger picture is China, guys. China, they have China, they're involved with Venezuela. Venezuela has more oil than anywhere in the world. More than all the Arab countries. And that I feel if the US and our allies take any type of action, um, it's a bigger picture. You got to look outside of the box. We don't want a Chinese base 1,000 miles from approximately 1,000 miles from Puerto Rico and about 1,300 miles from Florida. Guys, that's you could throw a rock. That's our backyard. So 21 nations. And allegedly, again, I'm not. I'm still, studying this whole thing, and all I have to say is if things go bad, in God forbid, Allah, blue, whatever you believe in, if shit goes bad, you think these thousands and thousands of Hondurans that are coming is you think they're a problem? We're going to see a crisis that the Western Hemisphere has never seen before. These will be true refugees, not migrants. Millions of people. So, it's pretty serious, regardless of it being in our backyard. But it's in our backyard, and again, it's things are growing. Um, I mean, America is not. We don't see Maduro as president of his own country. Then we had Russia, threat. I guess you could say threat, giving us a threat, a warning. Um, just my opinion. Again, I go back to China. We don't want a Chinese base there. The Ruskies, they're there. There's two bombers there right now, but it's a 10-year contract. Um, it's the Chinese. Besides military guys, they are doing launches left and right. Space launches um, from South America. So, what do you guys, how do you guys feel about it? How are you, Darlene? There's no win. I am back. Is everybody watching right now? You guys live in the States, America? What's your opinion, thoughts about Venezuela and what's taking place? Washington State. How do you feel about this whole Venezuela thing? I mean, I uploaded a speech earlier about, you know, Mike Pompeo. We're giving them aid. We can deal with Ruski. Correct, Harley Gibson. 100%. I don't know if you just popped in, but that's what I said in the open. Exactly what you said. We know the Ruskies, and again, they have a 10-year contract. There's two bombers there already. It's China. China. We don't want China. We don't want China 1,000 miles from U.S. territory, a base. Darlene, all I know is Russia stays out of it. Do we want to cross them? Now reverse that, Darlene. Would they cross us? Again, you have Russia, China, and Turkey versus, I don't have enough fingers, as it stands now. And from 4 hours ago, it had increased a lot. There's 21 nations that are on board that agree with getting Maduro out. And they don't see him. Canada, the UK, France, pretty much the whole EU. But right now, it's 21 versus 3. 3, because I didn't add any South American countries. They, Colombia, Brazil, they're with us. But there's certain countries in South America that are not with us. Frog, what's up, dude? Russia and China are big. Russia, not so much. Not so much. Look, I'm an American patriot. I served my country. Ronald Reagan, Ronald Reagan, to whatever you have to say about the Cold War, he signed a treaty saying, once the Cold War ended, that we will never have pretty much like the EU on their, act like, what if you live in, I'm not saying, listen, Putin is a thug, period. I'm not saying he's a Donald Trump. But at the same time, think about space, you, like exactly what we're talking about. China. We don't want China in the Western Hemisphere. Now imagine you in Russia, surrounded. Japan, we're in Japan, Korea, um, the EU up until Trump. Pretty much. I always call the EU mini America. Um, you know, Again, I love my country. I'm an American patriot, but at the same time, at certain times, it feels like we're poking the bear, the Russian bear, right? And we are in their back. I mean, I just try to be open minded with Susie. What if they do start gov for 3 weeks? The border could be stormed, illegals. And right now we're talking about Venezuela, but Susie, it could be very disturbing. It's an invasion. The few videos that I recently uploaded, but I've been following this since day one. The migrants. Now we have a different plate going, and I'm open to that. Whatever you guys want to talk about. Um, we saw that one coyote with a ladder, right? And I think 10% were children. So what was it? I think 100 people. So I think 10 kids, right? My problem is, you guys heard it. You guys, I showed a clip, not just from my mouth. I actually showed you a clip. And again, depending upon which site you go on, there's going to be different numbers. But regardless, there's thousands of military aged males, 16 to 65. Think about that. Again, you know, the whole entire, we have UAVs going up and down. You know, that's how we got the footage. But at this time, we don't have the manpower. As soon as you see, it's not like they were hiding in brush in that part in Yuma, Arizona. As soon as you see, herds of people, that's when you got to bring in the Blackhawks, and chase them out. Their boss in the Vatican. Huh, don't get me started with the Vatican. Frog. We've had multiple attempts on POTUS. We have a lot here already. I'm pro 2A, and we carry. And speaking of that, I'll be doing a video about that shortly. Nancy Pelosi, she has a shitload. She's trying to bring back the assault weapons ban. Here in New Jersey, when you buy, again, we got different plates going, different topics. I'm fine. When you buy a rifle, a carbine, AR-15, the stock, not the stock that rests on your shoulder, the stock magazine is a 30-round magazine. That's standard. That's not a high capacity. That's standard. New Jersey, for the past, 10, 15, I think it might be 20 years now. 20 years, we have a 15-round that's the max capacity. We have a new governor, and again, in 5 years, New Jersey will be worse than California, because we are so. Right now, we're the most densely populated state in the country, New Jersey. So we will be worse than California in 5 years. We're not a city. It's a sanctuary state right this second in New Jersey. Um, and with this piece of shit governor, this new governor, he's punishing law-abiding citizens and rewarding criminals. Drives me nuts. Meanwhile, these are people who have private security and gated communities and all that good stuff. But you're not allowed to have a gun. Hey, Lee, what's up? Pelosi tried to have Trump whacked. Oh, man. I know. The whole submarine thing. I mean, again, I'm very open minded. So it's like a puzzle. She left. I I feel sorry for you. Prayers. Me? I'm good. Um the disturbing, there's multiple things with that. Um Not only did she want to flee the country during a government shutdown, right? We had Donna, well, I think they were tweets. Donna Brazil tweets, Madam Speaker, followed by President Pelosi, followed by MLK weekend is underway. Keep hope alive. And she had, that's just one of a couple disturbing tweets. So why does she want to leave the country during a shutdown? Trump, he's been there since day one. He left the White House one time to go to a war zone to see our troops for the holidays. He's there. He wants to talk. Yeah, before Pelosi leaving, she was in Hawaii. She was in Hawaii. They're they're crazy, guys. I mean, some of you might have been, liberal or Democrat, but in 2019, they're fucking crazy. Period. And I'm done with biting my tongue and, they speaking of pushing, they've been pushing us conservatives, we the people. Look at over the past 4 days, this whole I didn't even do a video on it. The MAGA hat kids with the Native American. I'm 25% Native American. 25%. Quarter. That he's a piece of shit, that guy. But it's more than that guy. It's the whole group. These are young first off, they're 16-year-old kids waiting for a ride. Their chaperone gave them permission to to dance or whatever. I mean, death. These kids are receiving death threats. Some kids who go to the school, but they weren't even on that trip. I saw a couple of articles. They're even being affected because somebody threatened. I don't even like talking about it. Their school. It's for wearing a hat. Frog. Remember playbook, JFK, same playbook, 100%. I have it. These are my notes from a couple days ago. Prior to JFK assassination, November 63, the entire cabinet was flown to Tokyo, Japan. During the assassination, the entire cabinet was out of the country. Same pattern with Pelosi. and Adam Skiff. Disturbing, guys. Do they think they're funny? Speaking of disturbing, um, Cortez, her she has a few followers that are threatening um, Scalise. You know, Scalise was shot during the baseball game, and just so you know, they get away with so much shit. I'm tired of it. My gloves are off. Meaning I'm not biting my tongue anymore. And that's where we stand now. If they take it one step further, just like a cop. As a cop, you have the right to have as far as force goes, you're allowed to always be one step higher than the subject. So if a subject wants to fight you, you're allowed to use a baton, a flashlight. You know, you're so that's where I'm at right now with these people. I always bring up Louder with Crowder because you know I think he's a good person. You know, got he believe he brings up God a lot, and some people don't like that. I'm not a Bible thumper, but due to his 3.3 million followers, and it's a young crowd. I think I mean he's the number one conservative that's out there right now. So I I really like his channel. Meanwhile, he's an immigrant. He's not even American. He came from Canada. Frog. Thank God for his detail. Correct, Frog. Thank God for the NSA. Right? The NSA, they approached him first before he wasn't going to run for office. The NSA approached him, including this red flag over my left shoulder, some top generals, and they said, listen, pretty much make a long story short, if you don't run, we need someone like you. If you don't run, we had enough. And we will do a coup. I'm talking about these guys and girls. A lot of people don't forget this, but Mad Dog Mattis, all right, General Mad Dog, Obama fired him. Obama fired Mad Dog Mattis. He was the Secretary of Defense up until what, like 3 weeks, give or take 3 weeks ago, according to Q, Gitmo, but I don't have any evidence of that. So, but he left. But I'm a big fan of him. Some people not so much, but he's like modern day Patton. I'm sure you guys know Patton. He was killed in a car crash because he was too gun ho for war during World War II. Tribunal, yeah. And listen, something's going down. I did that video like the second week of December. So like 5 weeks ago, or 20, a little bit longer, about a month ago, I'd just say, of the whole envelope, the secret envelopes. That video has like 1.5 million views. That's insane. I just started my channel. but I'm demonetized, so it doesn't matter. But 1.5 million views on that one video. I love Mattis. Sheila, me too. Hoorah. And according to my intel, and if you type it in Google, you will put Google, the mainstream would say that they butt heads with, meaning POTUS and Mattis. They didn't see that, whatever. I disagree with that. I think they had a very good relationship, and he really enjoyed his position. So for him to step down, again, I don't have evidence of Gitmo. Excuse me. But I don't know. I feel something good's, we are winning. We are in a war. There, and even war, like just say the US and China, it's not like old school war. Like America, we have ships everywhere. It's not that type of war. Cybersecurity, hacking, um, um, energy weapons. We saw it in Cuba. I mean, this is modern day warfare. It's not big aircraft carriers anymore. Sheila, political theater necessary, disinformation. Correct. You have to understand, it's a psyop. Okay? It's a psyop. So now, if you're one of these evil entities in America, you have full access to Q and all the anons, right? So now, if you're just like how any of us, and there's certain channels that strictly Q and they're great. Again, I don't badmouth any channel. I'm here to unite us, truthers, we the people. Harley Mattis is in Gitmo. General Kelly. Kelly's awesome. Kelly's awesome. That look that he gave that rhino, Lindsey Graham, at the No Name's funeral. I made a video on that. Loved it. Loved it. He pretty much stared him right through his soul. Lindsey Graham, he didn't even know where to put his hands. He didn't even know where to look. His wife was next to him, and she was seeing it at the same time. When he turns after hugging Uma, Kelly was just eyeing him up. He didn't do this, but he did like, I'm watching you. Even Mad Dog, he was watching, but kind of like covert. Sheila, I call that look the Hillary eyeball. Frog. Sergeant Report is a very shit. Sergeant Report is very useful, very information. He's accurate. I've been on his channel, but not recently. I'll definitely check him out. F sources in Turuski, back in Maduro. Twitter users are saying civilians are attacked by Maduro military. People they I don't I think the number is about eight protesters were killed. It could be higher because it's been hours since I checked. Um, Wouldn't want him and Mad Dog looking my way. Hoorah with that. Semper Fidelis, always faithful. We need more proof, not tweets. I did, Darlene. I saw multiple videos of. Um, I mean, it's not like the video that I saw. It's not like it was police. I didn't see any military going after protesters. It was all police. There's a big difference, even down there. But yeah, about 8 people died. It could be higher. Suggesting they drop back currency. Did you guys see like how their currency? Like there's a it was a Fox News article. They had like a turkey, and to buy a turkey, they stacked up piles of money. If that was like American, U.S., it looks like it was probably $20,000 or ten to $15,000 if that was U.S. currency. Their money is worth pennies, if that. And again, guys, they have the most oil in the world. How do you think all these, look at Saudi Arabia. They don't share their wealth, every year. Well, Jeff Bezos, he's one of the, I think, like top 5 or top 3 richest men in America, and he's in his 40s. He started Amazon, but other countries, they're not like us. All I have to say, and I know this for a fact, the cabal, Saudi Arabia, is not a ally. We act like buddy buddies with them, but they don't like us. They don't like Americans. You had Obama bowing to him, kissing his feet. You see how they treated POTUS during his very first visit? They had a party, a parade. Not only that, he brought his wife, the first lady. It's against their religion to shake a woman, to greet a woman. The king of Saudi Arabia greeted Melania. Respect. There's a new sheriff in town. Red carpet? Yeah, red carpet. I mean, they were dancing. I mean, it was the biggest, I believe, that was the biggest arms deal in American history, what POTUS did that day with them. They rolled out the red carpet. Trump's a boss. I love Trump. I love him. Dancing with the swords. That was great. How about the escort? Remember that he was driving once he got into they call it the Beast. Once he got in the Beast, he was surrounded by horses, and they were all carrying the American flag. They gave him a show. XTF. You must have read my mind. I was thinking that as soon as we were talking about Saudi Arabia, I was thinking about that. The hand on the globe. because Saudi Arabia, again, I, I was trying to bring this up a couple minutes ago, but I was reading comments. They are a huge part of the cabal. We always hear about the cabal, like, who are the bad guys? We know Soros, blah blah blah. But Saudi Arabia in the cabal, they have $4 trillion. And the thing, guys, I don't know if any of you guys, were ever managers or ever served or ever had rank in anything, but as a boss, you know, you want to be feared but respected. That doesn't mean you treat them like, your. It could go from your employees, whatever. You want to be feared but respected. So that doesn't mean be an asshole. That means, the people under you, like as a boss, I will never tell any of my men or women to do something that I want. A lot of people, when they start to climb rank, their head gets big. I'm the total opposite. They like the power, but don't agree with it. Yes. Saudis know about. Saudis know it. Just don't. Going back to the globe thing, I believe like even the Simpsons, they even had a it was weird. They predicted Trump, right? They predicted Trump coming down the escalator, like to the T. It's weird stuff. There's a delay between my phone and my computer. Remember the big assembly with all the Arab countries representing Saudi Arabia? Headsets. The world knew. The world knew. Even China. Trump's first visit to China, red carpet. Did you see Obama's visit to China? He had to go out the back door of Air Force One, and that's not used typically for POTUS. They refused to give him a ramp to come down steps. Obama had to go out the back door of the Air Force One. Yeah, XTF. Was it military or police? Because I have not seen any, like I said, military take action on the people of Venezuela. So far, it was the police, like I said. Remember Obama in Cuba? No one greeted him. Obama was he's not a leader. He's not. People liked him, just like what Bill Cooper, Behold a Pale Horse. Probably, going back to George or 1983, we're living it. But William Cooper, he's a American patriot, and he spoke about all the FFs, the shootings in schools. This book was, he wrote the book in the 80s. I believe it was published in like 1990 or 1991 to the public. He talked about how they're going to be doing that for gun control. And then there's a clip online. Eric Holder, before he was top cop, um, he said we just had to keep brainwashing people. It's online. Keep brainwashing people about the Second Amendment. His words, not mine. Right? Disgusting. What's your prediction on Venezuela, civil war, or an invasion by Brazil? At the top of this video, that's what we were talking about, and as it stands now, I'm still, everything could change. I mean, tonight something could happen, but right now, there's 21 nations that are with America, and it's Ruskies, China, Turkey versus 21 nations. And then again, these three superpowers. There's some South American countries as well, but I can't. I'll have to sit on that for a little bit, because over the next couple days, I could give you. I don't know right this second. I can't answer. Over the next couple days, we will definitely know a lot, because the protests, they're getting larger. And again, 6 hours ago, it wasn't up to 21 nations. Now it's 21 nations prior to me going live. So again, over the next couple days, I could give you a much better answer. Darlene, unbelievable. Obama and Michael were voted most respected people in the world. He got away with so much because of being half black. Seriously, he got away with so much. We live in such a PC world. This is real talk. I'm just as white as Obama. So not one comedian, think about this. I'm not even talking about mainstream news. Not one comedian did anything about Obama in 8 years. Right? Nothing negative. Disgusting. I'm all about, as a comedian, if you talk about another person, typically, you kind of have to relate to that person and kind of like the person, and then it's funny. But if you actually hate that person, I'm not down with that. They would be acts. Correct. Seriously. It's disgusting. Even now. Do I have that clip still up? I found a clip of Nancy Pelosi from about a year and a half ago. She's giving a speech, and she refused to say President Trump during her speech. Disgusting. Like, zero respect. These are not, rational. They have a disease. It's a disease in 2019. You can't even talk to these people. They don't even want to sit down and have a debate. Even on the street, louder. He goes out. They just freak out. They change my mind. They either don't know what they're brainwashed by these college professors, brainwashed by mainstream media, and they get grilled. Once they know the facts, they're like a deer in headlights. They're like, Really? It's a shame. Scott, Scott Thompson, Thomas, true Saturday Night Live, 100%, brother. It's a shame. In the '90s, I grew up with on Saturday Night Live. I grew up with that. I looked forward to it. I haven't watched Saturday probably like since high school. Yeah, Frog, perfect. Yeah, movie. Yeah, Hollywood, Hollywood, just Hollywood alone. You had the little redhead. What did she do? What did she hold up? She held up a head of somebody. How about at the Women's March? What they say at the Women's March? Then you had Johnny Depp. Johnny, you know, look it up. Johnny Depp said, "When was the last time a I'm paraphrasing now a actor assassinated a president?" His words. Yeah, I don't I don't like to say that redhead's name, Darlene. Sheila says, "I used to love the Oscars." I know it's I know. I have friends, same thing, friends and family who you know they used to watch it and they're done. How about who's the other guy? There's I don't watch television, so it's one of the awards in what maybe the what's their Oscars? What's the other Oscars? Help me out here. He came out and the very first thing he said was "fuck Trump." They're all possessed. Yes, it's, they have a disease. Kathy Griffin's father was a patriot, and it's a shame. Like total opposite. And then you and speaking of what we're talking about, how about the play? There's a play in New York City where this individual looked like President Trump, Shakespeare or something, and he got stabbed to death in this play. Like yes, De Niro, Scott Thompson, Thomas. Thank you. Yeah, De Niro. Fuck Trump. Yeah, fuck you. He's a big scumbag. It's a shame because there's some good actors, you know, but and that's all they are. They're actors, you know. In real life, in reality, they're actors because they're pieces of shit. Sheila, everyone loved him. Everyone loved him. Everybody. Oprah, my parents, or everybody, all the rappers, you know, they loved him. All the you know basketball players. Now you know now he's a racist. He drives me. I just laugh at it now. Oh yeah, Frog. That Eminem. That was disgusting. And again, guys, like we live in America, so like you could bash somebody, but like some people say, "Oh, freedom of speech." No, like I could go down the list. You know, besides actors like Maxine Waters calling for violence, she's calling for violence. Get in their face, Maxine. If anyone got in my face, you will be lights out. Seriously, if I'm trying to eat and I'm wearing, I told you guys, most of my shirts probably 80% of my gear. I have like 9 all military stuff and patriotic stuff. You get in my face, you're going to be dealt with. Dinero, Zepeto. I had no idea. Wife recently divorced him. Probably the best thing she ever did. I couldn't even tell you what she looks like. The crazy thing too, like I always bring up William Cooper because in that interview, the it's like 2 hours long, 2 or 3 hours long, the uncut version. It was a CNN, but it was CNN like 1990. Hey, Mike Lee Hollywood, how are you? Um, and Bill Cooper, again, he's he hit the nail on the head. Like what I told you guys earlier about, in the 80s, he said, in the future, look for FFs with school shootings. Um, I'm not here saying every single one is a FF, but look into it. That's all I gotta say. Look into them. Um, Pretty much, he said we will need a president who, one, is a non-politician, right? And two, who will clean house. This is coming from William Cooper in like a 1990 interview. And that's what we did. We were blessed to get President Trump. Just look what he did so far. As far as people getting fired, demoted, or leaving because, they're DS and they left. You got to cut the head off the snake. That's why, again, a lot of people don't like Q, or a lot of people, they don't, they Q is for everybody. Again, it's a psyop. It's not just like certain people are privy. It's Q is for everybody. So if you know deep down you're DS or anti-America, and now you could go online and read these anons. It's a psyop. It messes with your mind. That's why there's disinformation, and I'm fine with that. And right off the bat, guys, if Q was not a white hat entity, because there's multiple Q, right? A couple things. You will have POTUS. He's like a fly on shit. He will call Q out in a heartbeat. Two, mainstream media. They will be all over Q. All over Q. And it's the opposite. So that should tell you something. Darlene says they have a cannibal restaurant now. Speaking of cannibal, a little different than that, but you hear the law New York City just passed? You could have an abortion pretty much at the time of birth. New York came out, I think yesterday, or over the past 48 hours. I've been, I do a lot of researching. So over the past 48 hours, a new law in New York State, New York. That's disturbing. Scott, I used to wear a Trump hat, but young kids will mess with me. Jeez, I would love to just take a walk with you, Scott. And I don't look for trouble. I don't want trouble. I have a Trump flag in front of my house. A Trump flag underneath my American flag. Never had an issue. It's actually the opposite. I've had people come up to me, "Oh, I love that flag," but like exactly like you said, because of their job, they're scared they can't speak out. It's sad if you live in America and you can't support your president without being destroyed. You know, destroyed. Trying to make laws where kids can't wear MAGA hats, or I love it how the Dems with the whole MAGA hat thing. They want kids, young kids, telling me how to use this, right? After that Florida thing with Sheriff Israel, kids telling me, how many I should have, all this. I don't want to get into it. But then if a kid wears a hat supporting a president, they think they shouldn't be able to. Yeah. Good luck with that one. I hope it's going to be the opposite. I hope more and more people. Darlene, the Q has convinced people that martial law is good. I haven't seen anything about that. And again, I'm not. I'm very familiar with Q, but I'm not like a fly on shit with Q. So, um, if Q did say something about martial law, please email it to me or send me a source. Um, but in your defense, I've seen a shitload of videos speaking of martial law. There's a couple of military people who have channels, um, who made speaking about martial law, but I have not seen anything from Q. Again, I'm not a big Q person. I agree with Q, but I'm not a Q channel. And Scott, what area was this where these kids were giving you issues? Like young kids or like high school kids? It's all over Patriot Hour. What did Could you elaborate a little bit more? What did Q say? Martial law is good, or be ready for martial law? Do you know what martial law is? In America, we hear martial law, and the first thing in America, we think it's this, right? That's the very first thing that comes to my mind and most other people. Martial law, military government involving the suspension of ordinary law. Curfews, like there's martial law in Ukraine, right? That doesn't mean they're going door to door. So if something, God forbid, a disaster happened, martial law again. That doesn't mean there's not enough people to get this. Now, in the future, with technology, with these cell phone towers, and could they do something? Yeah, in the future, But in 2019, if God forbid something happened and we get a text alert from saying, it's martial law, a curfew, period. Sheila says, Q says martial law will be necessary. And it might be. And it might be. Like I said, I'm not, that doesn't mean they're coming for this. Look what just happened. About 10 minutes ago, we were talking about Nancy Pelosi and the whole plot, right? The submarine thing. It was all fiction, thank God. Now just say that it wasn't fiction and POTUS received, he had intel of that was going to happen, right? Now he sends out a alert, martial law. In certain areas. I don't know. Again, I guess it depends where the wherever the threat or issue may be. But I don't want martial law. Rex 84. I am aware of Rex 84. Katrina was disgusting at the first time. I mean, it's still on YouTube of that old lady and these cops, these scumbag cops. Actually, meanwhile, there's a news agent. There's like a local news sitting in that poor lady's house. Cops knock on the door. They ask her, "Do you have a weapon?" And she says, "Yeah." And then the next they tackle her. That's disgusting. And again, guys, going back to Katrina, they were knocking. They weren't knocking doors down. They were knocking. They were asking a question. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I'm not telling anybody what to do, but same thing when you get pulled over by the police. When you get pulled over by a police officer for 2C, a simple moving violation, a lot of cops, where are you going? Where are you coming from? What do you do? Where do you work? Yeah, sometimes if you think that the individual is a drug dealer or you pull up the record, yeah, you could do that. But if you pull me over for, again, any 2C, I think that's bullshit. I live in America. I don't need to tell you. What's this? Not, Germany? And I'm pro blue, but that doesn't mean I agree with everything they do. Where are you going? Where are you coming from? Where do you work? Going back to the money thing, and my state's one of them. If you have a large sum of money, it could be confiscated. Frog, yep, MK. Frog. It's funny when you get out, when there's people fighting, and you have a Remington 870, and all you got to do is, there could be a group of people fighting. You rack that. As soon as that thing gets racked, you get order. But again, guys, I'm open-minded. I just told you the bad things that happened during Katrina, but at the same time, besides the looting, thugs, they actually were shooting at police officers, and that's a fact. Martial law. The law applied in occupied territory by the military authority of the occupying power. 1. 2. By military forces that are invoked by government in an emergency when the civilian law enforcement agencies are unable to maintain public order, i.e., Katrina. Half the cops fled, they have families, and then the police, they were overran, so that's why they did martial law. And again, the cops were shot at. That'll be horrible, martial law. Horrible. I'll check it out, Sheila. And that's I to be honest, I haven't did my homework with martial law recently. Again, I'm familiar with martial law, but um, I'll definitely check it out. None of their businesses where I'm going if I'm not breaking the law. Correct. And if you did break the law for a justified stop, police stop, if give me a ticket or let me go. I don't need to tell you what I'm having for dinner. And we live in a police state. We do. And again, I'm all about law enforcement. One of the toughest jobs in the world. Again, it goes by location. If you're, I don't know if you guys can hear the sirens. There's a shitload of sirens outside. Goes by location. Some cops will go a whole entire 25, do the whole entire career and never see a dead body. Other cops, they could see a body during a shift or every other shift. Or during one shift, they could see multiple bodies. I think Sheila, I think Q said with martial law, the president can't run for a second term. Again, I don't typically like to. Somebody asked me earlier about how I feel about Venezuela, and I'm gonna have to sit on that for a couple of days. But as far as martial law goes, I would have to refresh my memory. I know there's like a few executive orders that, yeah, perfect martial law. That's one of them. Under martial law, like say, God forbid, right before POTUS was about to leave office, it puts a halt to all elections. And that's one of the reasons why in Ukraine they were saying, why didn't he? I don't know. I can't think of the guy's name. The president. Sorry, but why didn't he? He never declared martial law when they took Crimea. But now we have Trump in office, and he declared martial law because he's running again. So, again, I'm not there on the ground. It's hard, to get the truth abroad. I mean, it's hard enough to get the truth here home, but we have sources. Frogs I've seen in hospitals, not pleasant. Talking about bodies, frog. All right, guys. I think I'm going to go now. Thank you to everybody who is here live now, and then everybody else who will be reviewing this later. But everybody in the live chat, thank you. Darlene says yes. All voting suspended during. Correct. Yeah. I. Correct. I have a medical degree, seen many bodies, and seeing bodies, you know, are they dead already, or what's the definition of bodies? Coming in with half a head blown off. Yeah. Wow. Thank you for your service. It's tough. It is. The human, we're not meant to see that type of stuff. You know. That's why again that's why a lot of cops are alcoholics. They self-medicate, and a lot of cops, well, probably 50% of them were like alpha males, and then you got the geeks who like harass the public. But yeah, it could really beat somebody up. And because at least if you're in war, you're over there doing your tour, you're there with your guys, you're not doing 12 hours in a war zone, and then you got to come home and act like everything's fine. It's tough, but they sign up for it. But much respect to all the good men and women who serve every single day. Oh, Darlene, you read my mind, Darlene. You read my mind. 100%. If they're a bad entity, I don't. I could go home and go right to bed. But Darlene, you hit the nail on the head with that one. That's a different ballpark. 100%, Darlene. Oh yeah, it's not like I said. Not tonight. I didn't say it, but whenever we get on this topic, I say it's not just cops. The EMS, 80% of firefighters, they're volunteer, and a lot of times when there is a shooting, a stabbing, they respond. So now you have guys and well, mostly guys who are not getting paid. And they see shit too. Highway accidents, like if you're a highway cop, because you're doing 70, whatever the speed limit is, and you get into a wreck. Horrible. All right, Patriots. Have a good night. Michael Hollywood, Brian Anderson. It's been a pleasure. Darlene, Frog, Scott. Appreciate every single one of you guys. I love talking to you guys. Patriots, we are winning. All right, guys. Have a good night, and I'll be back. Time to get huge. What's up, brother? Good night. Michelle. Got fuzzy. See you guys.